Hello and good morning everyone. It's Egwin from Scope of Life. Wonderful day once again. I'm down here on the beach. It's 7 in the morning, which is perfect as that's just the end of the time gap where we are talking about the colon and the lung area in traditional Chinese medicine when it comes to their description of the circadian rhythm. So everything that has to do with at which time during the day which organ has the most energy. And it's perfect because today, right now, we're talking about exercise number 4, which is turning the head to the left and to the right, which again works, you guess it already, with our lungs. Exercise is rather simple. You just stand feet parallel to each other on the inside, roughly hip wide apart. The arms are just hanging loosely on each side. I just stand here with a very relaxed and upright spine. I don't force myself in anything. I just stand here very relaxed. And from this position, make sure, bring your hands a little bit closer to your body. Explain that in a second. And then here goes the exercise. With an inhalation to the side, exhalation to the front, inhalation to the side, exhalation back to the front. Well, that's it already. We only have a couple of things, as always, to look at. First of all, and very important, the head. While turning the head, there is only one direction in which you use consciously and actively in your muscle system. Which means that when you stand here, I only turn my head to the side by using my muscles actively. As soon as my head is turned to the side, that's equivalent with having brought tension to a spring. And as soon as you release this tension, it will naturally flip back, it will naturally sink back down again, come back to the center, come back to the middle. So by bringing the head to the side, as that's the rather not so normal position. So normally when we are completely relaxed, the head just points completely straight forward. So every time when I need tension to bring part of my body into a certain position, when I release this tension, my head just naturally comes back to the front, or whatever other body part. When I lift my arm, I don't need muscle power to bring it back down. I can just relax and the arm falls back down again. It's the same principle, just in this time around the neck area. So from standing here, I simply turn my head slowly, one vertebra after another. I turn to the side. I release and I let it sink back down again. Doesn't matter how long it takes. At the beginning you might have troubles actually relaxing the neck muscles. And the very important thing here, relaxing the neck muscles without collapsing in the structure. So we stand here rather upright, head is turned to the side. Notice even now, my head, my pelvis, they're in a straight line. There is nothing like that. So my head follows the line of the neck, which is upright up until the crown, like so. And I don't bend my head to the rear or over to this side when I'm turning it. Nothing like that. I'm just standing here, turning my head to the side. It's still in one line, spine, neck, head, crown, still one line. And from now I release. Let my head sink back to the middle, but you notice my spine, my whole neck area, they're still straight up. Okay, so that's the first two very important points here. Relaxation when you come back without collapsing being the second point. The other thing are the arms. Very small detail here. Just bring the arms a little closer to the body. Don't like bend them, don't stiff them up a lot. It's just a slight bringing them a little closer to the body. Main reason being to connect your hip area with your shoulder area. Otherwise, when you turn your head, sometimes you lose track of what's going on in your body and your shoulders are turned with your head. And that's what we try to avoid here. So from this position, hands resting comfortably on each side without having any tension whatsoever. Just bring them a little closer to the body as if you wanna grab the side of your trousers here. Bring them a little closer so that you have a good feeling of your hip area. Right now, you would feel it instantly when you turn your head and you also turn your body, you would instantly feel it in your arm rubbing against your upper thigh area. And that's what we try to avoid. So from this position, just simply turn your head. You don't feel any rubbing motion of your arms on your legs at all. Just bring it to the side, release, come back to the front, bring it to the other side, release, and back to the front. And that's the exercise already. As I mentioned, turning the head to the side is your inhalation, coming back to the middle is your exhalation. It's very important here, once again, that inhalation and exhalation build one big circle and there is no holding your breath at any given point in the movement. So no coming to the side, forcing your head further while holding the breath. No, it's just coming to the side easily, relax and letting your head just simply flow back to the front. That's all that we want to have here. It's also, there is one thing, why does this exercise work? Well, for once there is a tiny little movement of your shoulders that comes naturally as soon as you bring your head to the side. It's a tiny little opening of the front area right up here. And the other thing is, well, you might have noticed that your trachea, which is the sort of the pipe that's running from your mouth and from your nose back down into your lungs, into your bronchia, and then into the lung area. This pipe runs through your whole neck area as well. So down here, through your throat. And that's the point. When turning the head, you also rotate this pipe, you twist this pipe, which in return gives a slight, not a lot, just a slight pull on your trachea into your bronchia, which is the area where this pipe actually intersects with the lungs. And this area can be rather tense from daily life, from stress that has to do with your speech. This area can be tense from pollution because all the dust particles and stuff, they come in here and all the area tries to tense up in order to protect itself. And maybe even from an old sickness or something like that, illness like lung infection or something like that. If you have had something like that, good chance that part of your tissue in your lung area, especially in your bronchia, might be a little bit stuck to each other or something like that. And this simple exercise helps to loosen all of those tensions up, not only in the throat and in the neck area, but right down until the pipe actually like dividing itself and running into your lungs again. And that's exactly what we do here. We're working on the lungs. Is a very good and very nice exercise, especially in this case when you are having a cold already or you're on the edge of getting one. Well, just do this exercise. Just forget all the other exercises, which you normally shouldn't, but if you're close to getting a cold, just stand there, arms to the side. Don't force the movement. Also, if you find yourself you can't turn your head as far as I'm doing it here, don't force yourself. It's not about like being able to turn your head around and around and around and around and then release it and it spirals back or something like that. The only thing, we are always working with the body that we have at one given point in time. So you can't work with a body that you don't have. And it doesn't make sense to try and work with a body structure that you might not have at the moment. Well, neither of us has the body structure to turn around his head like 2 times. But there are some people who can turn their head rather far. And there are some people who can't turn their head, maybe only to like 30, 40 degrees. But that's fine because the tension back here is with some people just too much. But that's fine. Yeah? Work with the body that you have at this given time, and by doing so and by focusing on that, you will improve and your body structure will improve. And by doing so, over a certain amount of time, you will get to the point where your body is suddenly something completely else, where your movability is something completely else, something completely else, much better. But you don't get that by being somewhere where you're not at the moment. By being somewhere where you're not at the moment physically, the risk of injury is rather high. And especially working with the neck, it's very important to keep your tension low, to work on it, but not to overdo it, because back here we have the short neck muscles, and those are very important for overall tension in the whole body, tension and relaxation management actually. And so if you try to force too much into a structure that's not prepared to do so, that wouldn't do you any good. Once again, the exercise, we've come from raising one arm, lifting one arm. We have one breath in between, coming to the front, coming to the rear. Bring the arms a little closer to the body. Inhalation, turning the head to the side. Exhalation, let it sink back down naturally. Inhalation. And exhalation. Inhalation. And exhalation. Inhalation and exhalation. And that's it. Especially in this exercise, you shouldn't really have any problems with the length of your breath. Try not to be too quick. Try to take yourself the time you need in order to feel that the muscles really relax and that you come back to the middle because of your muscles relaxing and not because of you turning your head consciously, actively back to the front. All right, I wish you a wonderful day. By the way, that's a good exercise to start your day as well. Well, all of them are obviously. As I mentioned before, having a cold, Great exercise, just repeat it a couple of times more than you normally would. Like in the whole set, we might repeat the exercises like 2, 4, 6 times, something like that. If you're having a cold and you want to work on that, use this exercise maybe 2 or 3 times a day, up to 20 or 30 repetitions, something like that. But then after having a cold, cut back down again to a normal level, implement it in the rest of the exercises once again, because always remember, we are one whole, one holistic whole being, and taking out just one part makes for a lot of problems. Actually, that's one of the biggest problems of traditional Western medicine, which is run by pharmaceutical companies and stuff like that, because they tend to focus too much on only one specific aspect of our health, even when they deal with sickness and stuff like that. And that's exactly what we don't want to have. We are holistic beings. We are people connected, like everything in nature is connected. Every little wheel that runs in nature has its counterpart somewhere else. And that's exactly what's going on in our body. So when we turn on one tuning element, then the whole body starts to tune in on that and starts to change actually. All right, I wish you a very pleasant day. If you have any questions, as always, leave them in the comment box or contact me directly on scopeoflife.com. Wish you a wonderful day. See you around soon. Make sure to subscribe. All the best.